Tucked away in the backwaters of Borneo lives a rare monkey with some unusual skills. Meet Pakuri, a male proboscis monkey with a large nose and lots of wives. And some very cute blue-faced babies. Watch the whole family climb to the top of the highest trees to perform death-defying feats. Find out why they have such fat bellies and how they digest poisonous food. Join the bizarre world of the proboscis monkeys of Borneo. The island of Borneo contains some of the most ancient forests on the planet. There are many things living here that live nowhere else on Earth. The Malaysian state of Sabah is in the far north. The Kinabatangan River is Sabah's longest and flows through some of the state's most abundant forests. This is the remnants of the once huge Borneo forest, and it's home to some astounding creatures. Estuarine crocodiles can grow up to 6 metres long. Smooth-coated otters hunt in the muddy waters, using their long whiskers to seek out small prey such as fish, crabs and turtles. They live in family groups, sharing feeding territories of about 10 square kilometres. Ten different species of primates can be found amongst the trees, including dainty macaques and grand old orangutans. But of those 10, there's a rare monkey living here which has such a peculiar lifestyle that zoos rarely attempt to keep it, and few people have ever had the chance to watch it up close. It's the strange proboscis monkey. The local Malays call it Monyet Belanda, which means Dutchman monkey. A joke on early European traders. Both were hairy, had big noses and pot bellies, and seemed to think they owned the place. Rivers are watery roads into the forest, but unfortunately many riverside trees have become part of the trading traffic. That's a problem for the proboscis monkey because they live almost exclusively in trees along the water's edge. But there are still spots where the trees and the monkeys remain. We're looking for one particular monkey. Apparently he's quite a character, and it doesn't take us too long before we hear him coming. He's an impressive male called Pakuri, which means pimple nose in Malay, because of the bulge on the right side of his already enormous nose. Pimple Nose is a high achiever. He's the adult male in a troop of 10 females. The girls are all related to each other. There are mothers, sisters and daughters, all busy raising his children together. It's easy to pick out the adult females. They're about half the size of Pakuri, and their noses are a lot cuter. In fact, nobody has a hooter like him. Even his sons won't get their large noses until they're about 3 years old, so for now, we can only guess if they'll take after their dad. Today the troop is relaxing. They're having breakfast, lunch, or is it dinner? These leaves are not very nutritious, so most of the day seems to be leaf-eating time. With a harem of 10 females, Pakuri is top man around here, but he's earned his privileged position. He has to fight to keep hold of every one of his females, and the day will eventually come when he will lose his troop to a stronger male. The first time we see a challenge to his authority comes when their all-day meal is disrupted by uninvited visitors. It's another troop with their own big-nosed boss, who immediately announces his arrival. Pakuri springs into action towards the intruder. He puts himself up high and tries to intimidate the newcomer. But the intruder is undaunted. Then something quite unexpected happens. Pakuri is still trying to assert his dominance, but the incoming male seems to have lost interest in the challenge and has begun feeding. Suddenly the tension is gone, and everyone just starts munching away again, like a dinner party where someone's made a scene, but nobody's going to mention it. It's unusual to find more than one monkey troop feeding comfortably together like this, and strangely, it may be those leaves that are helping to keep the peace. Most leaves are laced with toxins, but the ones in these forests are particularly uninviting. It takes a specialised stomach to turn toxic leaves into a meal, and in the case of the proboscis monkey, it's a pair of stomachs. The proboscis monkey has an extra stomach that sits above the first one. The extra chamber contains bacteria and digestive juices that slowly break down the fibrous leaves and deal with the toxins. This double stomach holds large amounts of leaves for long periods of time. That's why proboscis monkeys have that permanently pregnant look. The two troops happily eat together because no one patch of poisonous leaves is worth the energy it would take to fight over them. And the two males don't need to fight over females because they both already have harems of their own. In fact, it's quite common for 2 or more troops of proboscis monkeys to meet up at night and roost together. As evening falls, Pakuri's troop climbs to the very tops of trees that are closest to the river. Their beds look somewhat precarious, but they're safest up high where predators such as pythons and leopards can't get to them. The troop spends most days patrolling along the riverbank, leaf eating. Proboscis monkeys need to be careful about which leaves they eat. The least toxins are in the bright green young leaves, and it's this picky diet that is the main reason they're so difficult to keep in captivity. The troop stops every few trees to prune off the young growth to keep their stomachs topped up. Full bellies make climbing difficult, so proboscis monkeys aren't particularly good at tree swinging. Many injure or kill themselves in falls. But proboscis monkeys don't need to rely on their climbing skills to escape danger in the forest. They have another option. These monkeys are excellent swimmers, and are prepared to climb to the top of the highest trees to get the best diving boards. There are mothers with babies up there, but who's going to go first? It looks like they're belly flopping, and it's a wonder they hold down their leafy lunches. A slow-motion replay reveals their secret. For most of the journey down, they're spread-eagled and look like they're going to hit the water with the whole length of their body. But at the last moment, they whip their legs around to break the fall. Proboscis monkeys will make the trip to escape danger, but also to simply feed on the other side of the river. They're doing doggy paddle here. Proboscis monkeys have been seen doing everything from breaststroke to the crawl. Below the water, they have a special feature that any Olympic swimmer would appreciate. They have webbed feet. Strung between each toe is a tough flap of skin that becomes a handy paddle in the water. This female has no trouble keeping her dainty nose above water. And some think that the male's longer nose may act as a kind of snorkel. But the reason for Pakuri's large nose probably has more to do with sex than snorkeling. It seems the bigger his nose, the more attractive he appears to the ladies. And it's not just proboscis males that have crazy faces. One of Pakuri's neighbours, who sometimes comes down to the river, is this female orangutan. Her furry face is splendid, but it's conservative compared to this male. He looks like he's had serious cheek implants. The male mandrill has a face that's so colourful, it looks like it's been made out of plastic. And there's another trend. Males are often larger than females. Silver-backed male gorillas are famous for being the heavyweights. It's a pattern repeated in many primate species. Males are bigger and often have something unusual or splendid about them. But funnily enough, it's the exceptions to this rule that help explain it. This is a golden bamboo lemur. It's difficult to tell which sex it is because males and females look incredibly similar. These monkeys form couples rather than troops. It seems all the added extras aren't needed if you're monogamous. The same thing is true of Philippine tarsiers. They form couples, and again males and females look the same. So the intimidating size and flashy ornaments in the males of some species have probably been favoured by the competition to be Superman. The hero gets the girls, while the others are left disappointed. Pakuri is the Superman of his troop, but there's a gang of bachelors heading his way. The first thing he notices is the sound of them crashing through the trees. It's like they want him to hear them coming. Maybe they can make it sound like there are more of them than there really are. In this gang, there are at least 7 young males. Groups of young bachelors like this are common in proboscis monkeys. and their sole aim is to gain control of a troop of their own. All of a sudden they start their bullying tactics. But Pakuri's ready with a reply. It's difficult to tell if they're running away or not. Pakuri's using all his powers of intimidation, his size, posture, voice, and maybe even that big nose of his to tell them he's not budging. Finally, he tries to scare them away by leaping around. Pakuri's posturing is working. The bachelors are calming down. This Superman isn't ready to be demoted just yet. These youngsters will have to keep searching for their chance to court the ladies. Soon after this challenge, there's new action in the forest. One of the females in Pakuri's troop is letting him know she's ready to mate. The same features that helped Pakuri chase off his competitors also makes him incredibly attractive to the females in his troop. This one seems keen. As one pregnancy begins, another has just ended. The females in the troop are all at different stages of child rearing, and resting in his mother's arms is Pakuri's latest offspring. So new is this baby into the world that the umbilical cord is still attached. Very young proboscis monkeys have a dark coat and blue faces. Other members of the troop tend to look after these blue-faced charmers until they become adolescents. But even so, the life of a proboscis monkey toddler isn't always this tranquil. Pakuri and some of the females are leaving. That means everyone has to go. The group rarely breaks up, and Pakuri is constantly trying to keep everyone together. Even if one of his mothers lags behind, he notices and will call after her to hurry up. Female proboscis monkeys will occasionally defect to other troops, and his success depends on how well he can hold his troop together. It's time for another river crossing, but this time the monkeys seem more nervous of what might be lurking in the water. Leaping from the tops of the trees means they can do most of the journey by air. The further they leap, the less they have to swim. Predators lurk below. A crocodile could kill a monkey before it swam more than a few strokes. Should this mother leap from as high as possible, risking injury on impact, or make a smaller jump and risk the crocodile? She takes the high option. Crossing in a group should improve their chances. There's safety in numbers. But there's no sign of the baby. There it is, still clinging on. Less than 1 day old, and it can hold its breath underwater for a considerable length of time. Proboscis babies are tough little characters, but for young males the toughest time is yet to come. While they're blue-faced cuties, the troop is their home. But as soon as their faces go red, they've hit their teens, and like human teenagers, they become less popular. Pakuri can't afford to have any other mature males amongst his harem. But left on the other side of the river is one of his wives, and she's found a bachelor group. But she's not come here to cheat on Pakuri. She's here with her son. He's too old to be safe in the troop. He doesn't know it yet, but she's decided it's time he left home. Suddenly she leaves. But her boy is close behind. She sits on the edge of the trees for a few hours. But then finally, when she jumps in, the boy can't follow. He hasn't learnt to dive yet. Left alone, he looks unsettled and upset. But there's no time for that. The bachelors are leaving. And he's in danger of being left behind a second time. He'll spend tonight with the boys, 5 hours away from his mother. Tonight, Pakuri's troop will have one less monkey at the roost. It's the start of a new life for this little guy. But he has a lot of growing up to do before he can attempt to be a superhero monkey like his dad, Pakuri.